and welcome back to the next episode of the Right Hand Drive Guys podcast, the podcast for guys who like right-hand drives. I'm Bobby. This is Aaron.
Yo.
And here we are for episode 158. And, if you listened last week, we just kind of updated you on what we were up to. And now we want to get into what is the guest up to, right?
Who's the guest this week?
So the guest is actually a guy that I met at Fuji Speedway last January. He during the Top Rank track day, but and we'll ask him. Like, I'm not completely positive, but I believe he or him and a group of guys rented out the track that morning, and Garage Source was there with some of their cars, and then Charles has had a car or cars modified by Garage Source, so they were doing like a test and tune. So
that's cool.
That was really cool to see. And then Charles allowed Jesse to drive his car and try to see what type of lap times he could get. So that was cool to see Jesse drive something that was not a stock Skyline around the track. So that's kind of how I met him.
So who is it?
Charles Wong.
Charles Wong.
I didn't even say his name. Charles Wong. And really cool guy. And I just so happened to be buying a rear diffuser for the 34 off him, and I was like, "Hey, dude, let's just chat about what you're up to on the podcast." And he said, "Hell yeah!" So what do you say,
dude? Let's do it.
All right, episode 158 with Charles Wong. All right, and we're back with Charles. What's up, man?
Hey man, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for coming on, man. It's definitely a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me over. I've been watching you guys' podcast before too, so.
Oh, sweet. Thank you. We appreciate that support. So, I already kind of did a little intro just so you know, that kind of talked about how I knew about you. And so I was curious if you could just kind of tell the listeners a little bit about yourself. I know you're doing a lot of things. So if you could just give us a little rundown on, who Charles really is.
Okay, well, my name is Charles. I have been doing car stuff, especially Nissan stuff, since I was 19. So it's almost 19 years ago when I first graduated from high school. So I started out with Sylvia. I did a lot of importing, and then, slowly moving on to R32 GT-Rs when they were legal in Canada, and then eventually I moved up to R34 Skyline GTR, which is one of my dream car. I'm sure that's dream car for most of the guys who are into Nissans. Mm-hmm. So before I was doing more importing, and then I did a lot of parts import. Obviously I built my own car, and I think what got me to meet a lot of the guys was when I had my blue R34 GT-R with Speed Hunter. I sent my car back to Japan and have Car Source build the car. I met a lot of guys from the States. I did a lot of track days in the States and track days in Japan. So I think that's when everything, come together with how I meet a lot of guys from the States. And then eventually now I'm putting my own parts. We are doing resto mod on the Skyline GTR. We build a lot of carbon fiber parts, center lock wheels, and so that's kind of sums up what I've been doing for the past 19 years.
Dang, yeah. I mean, you just threw some really cool words out there, like building your own parts, center lock wheels, like resto mod. That's like that's big time stuff, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've been building cars for a long time, and there's a lot of parts I really wanted, but they are not what I imagined they would be. So I figure, now I have the resources, I have more time and funding. It's time for me to build a part exactly how I wanted when I was a kid, and the technology wasn't available back then. So right now, the technology, the equipment is more easy to come by. So I think it's a good time for me to, easier for me to do that right now.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I mean, even, we were kind of talking about this with the scanners and 3D printers
Yeah.
and all of these different tools that you have now that before it was
Yeah.
casting and just trying to figure out.
Casting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no 3D printing, just doing solid work, AutoCAD. It's just super hard. It's not for someone who's a hobbyist, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now, with the internet, with YouTube, it's a lot easier to make things happen than, let's say, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So
what year did you get your first GTR? Like, what was your first GTR?
My first GTR was 2007.
Wow.
2007 was when I first got my R32 GTR because, I live in Canada. We have a 15-year rules. So I was 20.
Wow.
That's when I bought my first GTR. Surprisingly, they weren't that cheap back then. They were still $20,000 before it dropped to like $5,000-$6,000. So it still took me quite a bit of time to save up when I was 20 to get 25,000 to buy that car.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, but to have a 32 GTR before your 21st birthday, damn, that must have felt pretty good though.
It is until I told my girlfriend at that time, which is my wife now. I told her I bought a new car. She came to take a look at the car. She said, "That's not a new car. That's a 15-year-old Nissan." I'm like, yeah, she wasn't impressed.
Hey man, she must have not been too mad because she's married to you now, and I think you got a little bit more than a 32 GTR nowadays, huh?
I do have quite a bit of cars right now. I have, lots of Skyline GTR. Got some, exotics I really wanted when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna complain.
Yeah, for sure. So I know, like, from what I've heard through the grapevine, you've had a few cars built by Garage Saurus, right?
Yes, I have.
And so what, there's, of course we've all been in this, right? So there's so many guys, right, that you could take this to, especially in Japan. You kind of had the pick of the litter as far as, I'm sure you could have taken these cars to anybody you wanted to, so to speak.
Yeah.
Why Garage Saurus? Like, just tell us what is so special about them that they earned your business. I
think it's more of a coincidence. So when I first bought my R34 GTR, the blue one, I bought it into Canada. The plan was to build it ourselves with, a bunch of our friends, spend a weekend at the garage, we do our own thing. And then at Instagram, I scroll up to one of the feeds, and then it was one of the guys from Garage Saurus. They said they were opening a shop here in Vancouver. So I'm like, this name sounds familiar. I saw them before on, video options, and I wouldn't expect them to have a shop here. So I reached out to the guy. And then apparently he's Japanese. He doesn't speak that much English. And I'm like, he didn't reply to me. So I got a hold of one of my friends who speaks Japanese, and then they were talking, and then actually they need some help setting up a shop. I'm like, well, I am here. Let's see if we can meet up, and then we'll talk about it. So I meet up with him, and then he is one of the workers who, Saurus sent from Japan to here. He knows nothing about Canada. So eventually we become friends, and then he has Mr. Hayashi from Saurus in Japan flew in to help us with our cars in the beginning. So in the beginning, we just wanted to have someone to, kind of, look around the car, see what it needs. I don't have a set mind of how I wanted to build the car, but, he came over, he gave us some insight. He fixed the car, which, there's some problem with the car when I first bought it from Japan. So he came, fixed the car, and then we become friends. And eventually he talked us into, building the engine and, do a sequential transmission. And then I realized, there's no guys here in Canada that would, be able to, do anything like that. Everyone say they can build a car. Vancouver is a really small car community. GTR, being specific, there's not a lot of guys who have been working on them. Mm-hmm. Even though we have GTR for a long time. So, we had Garage Saurus came in he flew the engine in with him. And then,
Wow.
he flew the engine in with the OS 88 sequential gearbox, with his check-in luggage. So he came in, he put the car together, somewhat put together, and then being in Canada, obviously we're missing out on the parts still to get the car running. So we put a bunch of old parts back, and then he's like, this is not gonna work. We can't finish it within 5 days. Let's plan it again. The car runs. You drive the car, break it in, and then I'll come back, and then we'll finish it after.
Wow.
So that's how the whole thing gets started.
That's
How we met,
crazy.
and then it's throughout 1 year. Yeah, that he helped us out a lot.
Yeah, that's
So
pretty
it's just
cool.
a big coincidence. It's a big coincidence. Yeah.
Huh.
And then since then I stick with it for a long time.
Yeah, loyalty is huge, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you said something there that just made some pop in my head. Do you
Yeah.
think that, North America, the tuning shops over here are, kind of behind Japan? Or do you think nowadays that there's some US shops that are starting, or US or Canada shops that are starting to come up and be able to compete with
I
the
would
Japan side?
say I think they do have a different philosophy on how the cars being built between North America and Japan. In North America, we focus more on how the car looks engine wise, how the parts were built, and we're looking for the billet parts, clean engine bay, big power. But in Japan, they're more focused on the car being reliable. Within a certain budget, you don't have to go all out buying all the crazy parts. But they wanted to put the car together with how all the parts were make it into one big. It has more soul than I don't know how to explain it, but
Yeah.
all the parts they choose would work together flawlessly compared to having all the baller parts here with a big crazy part list. But in Japan, it's more about being reliable and how everything work together. So their philosophy is a little different than here. And in Japan, the crowd who was into GTR older guys, so they're looking for more refinement. The car doesn't break down instead of being flashy, big power. So I wouldn't say which one is better. It's different.
That makes sense
Yeah.
too. Like
Yeah.
right, like Japan, yeah, they want to find balance and harmony.
Yes.
Whereas, like
Yes.
you said, right, you land in America and all of a sudden, yeah, it's the crazy huge turbos, the
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
it's a whole thing for sure.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say which one is better, but for the experience that I have with them on my cars, I took my GTR to, let's say, I've been to track day like probably 20 times in my GTR with the same build. All we have to do is regular maintenance. I never have any breakdown, any hiccup on the car. When I go to Laguna Seca, people cars break down, and we did the whole day, 3 drivers. The car was all it needed was just gas.
Dang.
So
That's pretty cool.
I think it's different. Like my car definitely does not look crazy. When you pop the engine bay, it still looks like Japanese built car. I don't have all the fancy AM plumbing stuff like that. But it gets the job done. I think that's more important.
Right, yeah, that does make sense, right? Like your engine is built to work, not to necessarily
Yeah.
look great, look pretty, so to speak.
Yeah. Not to put anyone down in the
Yeah.
States. I know they have a different philosophy on building. I like the look, but when I propose them to Soros, they're like, nah, we're not doing that. I can't force them to do anything. So they put in the engine. All I can do is, when they build the car, I ship it back. I did my own little touch when it comes back to Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool though. I mean
Yeah.
that they're not willing to necessarily, break from what they know and what they do just to be cool. That's what I do love about Japanese tuners and shops is they really stick to, like, they have pride in who they are. They don't flex
Stubborn
and
Japanese
bend.
guys.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Super stubborn.
Yeah, that's what it is, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah. So okay, that's cool. So what is like, so out of what you've done to your car with Saurus, like What do you feel like was the best modification that you've done to your 34 that really gave you what you were looking for?
I would say overall, modification wise, would be the engine, obviously. Surprisingly, we never run any crazy ECU. We're running HKS AFCON
Wow.
3.4.
Definitely
Yeah,
Japanese.
Yeah.
the newest HKS ECU. So it's still pretty old.
Yeah.
But that thing does not give me any hiccup. No cold start issue, hot start issue. There was zero issue on the car. The car is pushing probably 700-800 horsepower.
Wow.
And that was my daily driver whenever I visit Japan. I drive that everywhere. We drove to Hokkaido. We drove around Hokkaido. We drove to Osaka, everywhere in Tokyo. I had the car there for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
And all it did was just we need oil change, and then that's it.
Wow.
So I
That
think
is sweet to say 700
the
horsepower.
way they set it up, yeah, the way they set it up is it's very good. It's like I would never imagine my built GTR to be the most reliable car in my fleet.
That is true to say, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and that's a testament
So,
to
That's mind-blowing.
the recipe that Saurus has figured out,
Yeah.
right?
So, and I think the second thing that I went with them is that gave me the most. What I was looking for was, when every time I go there, they treat me like a family. And when I go to track days, they take my car there, and then they tow the car there. We do a couple laps of warmed up, came back, they check the ECU, they check the tire pressure, check the brake, check all the oil pressure, have me go back out again. So every session they would look after the car, and then when the day is over, they load it back on the trailer, and then I drive my rental car home. So it really spoils me going to track day. So I rarely go to track day here nowadays. Back to Canada, it just I can't. I don't want to do any work myself.
Right.
I don't want to load the car on the trailer.
Wow.
I feel like a VIP going there. So they do to all the customers, right? Just to show appreciation that they support the shop, which I think it is really cool.
That is very cool.
That is cool. That's like
Yeah.
Saurus spoiled.
Yeah.
You're like Saurus spoiled, man.
I am like I go to track day here. The guys, all my friend was like, no one's gonna check the tire pressure here, man. You gotta do it yourself. I'm like, yeah.
That's cool, man.
So
And so
Yeah.
you've been to the track, it sounds like you've been to the track, period, a ton of times.
a lot of times, yeah.
And so were any of those visits for R&D for what CW Collective has turned into?
Yeah, I would say in the beginning, not so much. In the beginning, it's more for my personal enjoyment. And then eventually, when I was starting to learn about the car more, I drive a lot more on the track. By all means, I'm not a crazy driver. I'm not like a professional driver. But I do have a lot of track time in my own personal car, and how the car I wanted to handle and power coming wise. I think I have a lot of experience on my own car. So after I go to more track days, and I decide let's make more parts to turn the car how I want it to be. And so that's the last a year or two, when we start doing the center lock stuff, and then we have our own brake system from AP Racing. We took it to Japan. We have it installed there. And so trying out to see, hopefully the wheel doesn't fall off and the brake cover doesn't fly off, right? So I think that's more, at least I want my product to be tested, before, selling to any guys who's using it, right? So if it doesn't pass my expectation, I don't think I should give it to anyone.
Yeah, I feel like that's rare nowadays, right? Like a lot of people
Yeah.
are so quick to just push out a part to market just so that they can start recouping that investment.
Yeah, I think like most people have a limited resources too. I'm pretty happy I got more resources nowadays that I have the opportunity to try stuff like this. But I understand, it's just R&D takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of time. And with the market now, people copy each other, right? So if you don't launch your product fast enough, you eventually get copied before you even release the product. So
That's true.
I wouldn't say it's right or wrong, but it's just a competitive market. Now it's yeah.
And so,
So
all right. So you've created some parts. Tell us, like, what are you the most proud of? Like, where, because, you know, when you accomplish something that you either didn't think you were going to, or didn't even
yes.
realize you were going to, you get that feeling of like, that, like, oh, yes, like, oh, I did it. You know, like, what parts made you feel that way?
I think it's a center lock conversion of the car.
Yeah.
It's there's nothing like this out in the market. You know, a lot of people are selling center lock, let's say adapter, which is a spacer bolt onto the car.
Yeah.
How we did it was we have to send the whole hub replacement using Porsche or Lamborghini architecture. So
Oh,
our
wow.
thread is actually inside the hub instead of being exposed. And we have like a locking mechanism in the center of the hub. So it's both left and right side wheel are running the same thread directions. You don't need left and right reverse pitch to lock the wheels. And then, you know, the nut itself has like a cone, like a cone, so it free float. It doesn't damage your wheels or like a actual OEM car. That's I think all these small details. It's what makes it what I'm super proud of. You know, having this thing on the car instead of just having like a big chunky spacer and a big nut. You know, you put it onto the car and call it center lock.
Yeah.
We're
Oh,
trying to
right.
be as OEM
Yeah,
as
it's like
possible.
legit center lock.
So
That's sick. Like,
so yeah.
It,
And that thing, we can't make. There's no money to be made in that thing. I'll be honest. The R&D cost is so high. It's and we try to sell it, and then we realize, you know what? Let's just keep it to ourselves, and then whoever was building the car with us, we would sell it to them. And I think that's for as appreciation for them supporting us to have the car built here, and instead of
wow.
selling, because selling individually, it just costs too much. It's not cost effective to sell it as is to a partner. No one's gonna buy it.
Right, right. It would be
Yeah,
such a baller part, like such a
yeah.
high price that yeah, it would be hard to justify, right?
It is
On
super hard to justify because the whole thing, like one axle would take up probably 25 to 30 parts per axle
oof.
of
Yeah,
O-ring seals and then springs and then
dang.
clips. So it's not just a nut and a hub, which it just I don't know. It's super complicated design.
I mean, but that
So
is a cool thing to offer a customer who's willing to come to
yes,
you. It's almost
yeah,
it's one of those super unique, like niche parts that it's
yeah.
almost worth
It
coming
is.
to you to have you work on the car for that alone, if
Yes,
that's what you're into.
yes. Do that. Yeah,
And so
yeah.
on that point, right? Like
Mhm.
I've definitely been watching, your CW collective page and just the things you've been doing.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
because it's really quite unique. A lot of people aren't willing, or maybe like you said, don't have the capital to go that far,
Yes.
right? So when you see a guy going that
Yes.
far, you take notice. And so
Mhm.
if I, I have a when I actually saw you at Fuji, I bought my
Yeah.
34 GTR from Top Rank. So I have a 34
Yeah.
GTR
Yeah.
that is should be getting in a container this month, right?
Yeah.
So if I wanted to bring my 34 GTR to CW Collective and work with
Yeah.
Charles Wong, like what are my options? Like what, I have no idea what you really even do, but I've heard you're the best.
Mhm.
What are my options?
I would say we do not do any engine work, right? All our engine work is done by God source. We used to do a couple engine builds, but we decided, this is not our expertise. We leave the engine, the drivetrain, everything would be done by God source. Um, for the body, we only do the body. We do the whole underbody on the rotisserie. We take everything apart. We blast everything off. We repainted the whole body. We spot welded everything. So we run our own nitron suspension. This is our own custom valving that we've worked with
Wow.
for all of the cars. We do our own development on our AP Racing brick kit. Front six, rear four. We tried multiple setups to find the best balance AP Racing ratio between front and back. So We do all the titanium stuff on the car. Every bolt in whole car with titanium. We also work with Robson leather.
Oh
You
wow.
see the green car in the back. We do all the whole leather Alcantara interior. We work with Robson a lot for most of the cars that we built. Um, oh yeah, we also do a lot of carbon fiber stuff. So most of the carbon fiber stuff is made in Canada and made in Germany.
Oh wow.
So
That's
so
pretty
yeah, we
legit.
don't. Yeah, we have a race shop in Germany that help us with a lot of the front end dry carbon parts that they or CNC molding. So yeah,
Wow, that's
that's
so. Would you, and there's no, I'm not trying to compare here, right? I'm just
yeah.
saying, if we had to say, it's almost like a built by legend style program ish, right? Like
Yes,
just
yes,
in the sense of you're working with all of these really excellent people to
yes.
create this one project.
I think we had like they actually helped me out a lot on a different insight on how things should be, especially on the chassis side of things. They helped me out with Garage Yoshida to do the shock tower. Um, but we do have a different approach. They are more leaning to, let's say, Japanese style, let's say how garage stores is, right? So they work with a lot of Japanese fitment shop. They like the Japanese style build, whereas I wanted to make a car to be more modernized, yet still stay OEM with more power. Um, so the center lock stuff, with like I'm trying to make the car into like a Porsche style, Singer style,
Oh,
instead of
okay.
I think I think they're more into, let's say, doing like a CRS, more
Yep.
OEM with
Yep.
aftermarket parts.
I could see
So
that.
I think we have a different approach. We have a different customer base, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely
So
room for both. Like that's what's really cool about it,
yes,
especially because you're clearly on exact opposite sides of the world, anyways. So
yes, yes.
and so on that note, can you purchase? I know you said the center locks are kind of exclusive to your program,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if I can't get my car to you, can I purchase any of those carbon parts, or can I purchase those brakes, or are those also exclusive?
Yes, yes. We're trying to work out, let's say, a whole let's get DIY package for people who aren't bringing a car to us. Um, but it would be best to have the car here. Like doing the install is kind of tricky on some of the parts. Carbon fiber parts, yes and no. It's really depends on how I would have to talk to the clients to get a feel how if they don't know much about the car, it's hard to send a body kit and then to put it on together
Yeah.
because there's always fitment issue with carbon fiber stuff. It doesn't matter
Oh yeah.
who makes them. So and who is prepping the carbon fiber, those pinholes, and I just don't want any disappointment, for the client. So it's always the best to have the car here with us.
Yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense,
But the
especially
brick
those
kit,
body
center
parts.
lock, yeah, obviously I can sell those. Yeah, yeah.
What is the brake kit you're talking about? Is that what you had on your 34 at Fuji?
No, that one was from Guard
Yeah,
Source.
that was a Saurus kit,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. We
cool.
have all the AP racing stuff on this car. It's on the floor. Oh.
Oh, I
Yeah, so it's on
see.
the floor. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
This is all the. We also make like R35 conversion kit, but not we haven't sold to the public yet. It's
Yeah,
just that too many competitive guys selling R35 kits, so we make couple. We're like, okay, let's just keep it on a couple of cars, and
yeah, I
yeah,
see what you're saying.
yeah.
Yeah, what's actually really hard to source, and I've been trying to find is the rear hats only for the 35 conversion
Oh,
for a
okay.
34. You know what I'm saying? Finding those rear hats is really hard that fit a 34.
That is only Super Tech makes them.
Super Tech. Okay, you just gave me the cheap
Super
code.
Tech from
Cheat code.
UK. Super Tech. We make them, but we only have one set. Yeah, we only have one set on one of the cars. Yeah,
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 it's one of those things, right? It feels like in this culture, it like ebbs and flows in the sense of you can find stuff and then you can't find anything, and then you can find stuff
yeah.
and then you can't find anything.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That's the reason why I started my own thing.
Yeah, it
I'm
makes
so
sense.
sick of looking for parts.
Dang, he
You know what?
built his own
I'll
fab
make my
place.
own. I will make my own if I can't find anything.
Hey, man. Well, speaking of your cars, can you give me a quick rundown on what your favorite car is to drive on track and maybe what your favorite car is to drive around on the street
That you own.
that you own?
That I own. I would say the favorite car to drive on the track would be my GTR. Any of them. Any of them.
Any of them.
I love them. It's fun. It brings me joy. I smile every time I get into the car. It's my pride and joy. On the street, you know what? Believe it or not, get ready. It's my Tesla Model 3.
Oh, wow.
The plug-in jobby.
The cheapest Tesla Model 3 standard range.
Oh wow, it's
That-
not even the performance.
It's not the performance. It's a black rear-wheel drive standard range Model 3
Dang.
with no option. That is my go-to car every time I leave the house. That's the only car I would get in unless my wife takes the car.
You know, like this just made me think of a really good point because you have obviously some 34s, you have some exotics
Yeah.
too as well, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
you know, like a guy that doesn't have any of that, right? And just has the base Model 3. Imagine how like just how the thought process is so different. He's like thinking like, oh, if I had these supercars and if I had GTRs, I'd be driving them all the time. But when you do have those things, right, it's so easy to jump into the Model 3 and just go.
Yeah, you're brainless. You don't need a key. You hop in. I pre-warm the car when it's cold. I can leave it outside. I don't care.
It's the duality of man.
Yeah, it's so true.
I can drive like an asshole, and there's 10,000 of them out on the street, and nobody know it was me.
Dude,
That's
I'll
true.
just cut anyone off.
Very true.
Nobody would know.
Yeah, and I mean a door ding on that thing is not a
I
big
don't
deal.
care.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a car. It's leased. When it's done, I return it. I get another one.
That's true.
No
I mean,
brainer.
you're right. You know, it is true. And especially because some of these cars, you know, like, for example, if you did get in a fender bender with a 34 GTR, how, like,
Yeah.
you're so heartbroken over.
Yeah,
just
like I can't. I don't want to claim insurance. I don't want a record on the car,
yeah.
which means the other guys get off easy,
Yeah.
and then I have to put our own pocket, fix the door thing, and then the paint will be mismatched,
Yeah, that's
and then
so
it's
true.
$400 to me. So I do drive my 34 a lot here, but day-to-day driving, going to work, or let's say doing errands, I usually take the Tesla Model 3. But let's say, if I want to go for breakfast, go for dates, I'll take the sports car out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Special occasions,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
It just makes it more special. Yeah.
Man, I don't know about you, but it was hard this past weekend watching all the R's meeting posts. You know, everybody's out, everybody's out there, and it just felt like a little bit of FOMO, right?
I did.
Yeah. Me too.
But we have GTR Festival coming.
Yes, a GTR festival. So, are you going to be down in Texas for that?
I'll be in Texas I'll just be there for 2 days.
So no cars, you're just coming. Charles is coming.
Just I'll spring. Yeah, I'll coming. I'll hang out with the friends, say hi. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I can't bring the car everywhere.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can't
Not
bring it
anymore.
everywhere.
No.
So yeah, we'll be out there. We're gonna do some live episodes from GTR Festival. So
Okay.
that'll be cool to really put the face to the name again as well.
Yeah.
So before we let you get back to creating amazing stuff on the other side of that screen, what's next for CW Collective and Charles Wong?
We are actually making our new own aero now.
Oh, wow.
We just finished the rendering, so we are doing the 3D modeling upcoming winter. So stay tuned. Will be a whole new, different, like nobody have ever seen it before. Full dry carbon.
And this is for
It'll be
34?
This is for 34. Hopefully, we get something done before AutoSalon. Then I can have a prototype sent out
Oh wow.
in AutoSalon and put it on one of the cars that I have in Japan. Hopefully, I don't
Yeah.
know yet.
Hey, we're
But we'll
rooting
see.
for you. That's
Heck
for
yeah,
sure.
that's gonna be cool.
That would be cool. But for your GTR collection, are you
Mhm.
done? Are you done?
No,
Never.
no. You know what? Every night before I go to sleep, I have different ideas on how the car should be built, and it's a never-ending process. You know, once I finish one car, I'm like, oh, there's something I want to do to a different car, maybe different color, different aero, different kind of wheel setup, then different color combination. You know what? Let's liquidate something and we'll buy another car. We'll build another one.
Yeah.
So it's always a non-stop cycle.
Hey, I think, some people would call that like crazy or insane, but I feel like that's part of like the fruit of life is being able to continuously imagine,
Yeah.
innovate. These things are what keep you going,
Mhm. Yeah. It's crazy. My wife lost track. She's like, I don't care what you do anymore. As long as I'm not in the car. She doesn't sit in any of the GTRs anymore.
That's crazy. From the girlfriend
Yeah.
who was mad about the 32 to the wife that says, just get out of my hair and go play with your Skylines,
Yeah.
right?
He's like, you drive the Skyline, people are taking pictures. I don't want to be in any pictures. So she doesn't get into any car.
She
Yeah.
can't handle the fame, huh?
She can't. So there's one time we took the NSX out. She's like, is anyone going to take pictures? I'm like, no, it's just an NSX. No one's going to take pictures. 5 minutes after in the stoplight, people are taking pictures. She's like,
I can only imagine, right?
so yeah.
Man, Charles, we'll let you get back to your thing, but we do appreciate
Sounds
you
good.
being on, man. We're looking
Yeah, thank
forward
you,
to
thank you.
seeing you in a few weeks for sure. That'll be
Oh
cool.
yeah. Sounds
and-
good. Sounds good.
And then hopefully in Japan as well. I'd love to
Oh
see
yeah,
you
I'll
out
see you
there.
in Fuji again.
Let the listeners know, Charles, how can they find you on the internet?
Follow my Instagram, CW_units. Message me. I reply to all the DMs. So if you want to message me, say hi. I'm there.
Dang, all right. That's a real one right there. A lot of guys are too quick to just ignore those things. So that's dope on you, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Charles. It was good to talk to you, and we'll see you again soon, man.
All right. I'll see you guys.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Man, that's cool. I love being able to meet people from, across really, I mean, the whole other side of the country, but world in a sense, in that sense, like a guy from Canada who was just into cars since he was 19, now creating his own center lock wheels, aero parts, working with Garagesaurus. Like, what?
Yeah, like crazy stuff. Like stuff that no one else is really doing, which is cool.
Yeah.
Like he's found his own little niche. So.
Yeah, and even though I can imagine that that's a kind of a hard road, like he said, like he put all this R&D into this center lock wheel kit that then really is too expensive for him to even sell. Like, beyond obviously some certain people.
Right, but he did it for him, right?
Right, which is even crazier, which speaks volumes to the fact that he is doing it for him, right? Like, which, like he said, like we aren't all fortunate enough to be able to create our own parts and R&D them at different circuits in Japan and all of these things, right? But dude, some people would be hating on him. Whoa, it must be nice. I'm like, dude, thanks.
Yeah,
like
that's so
you're
cool.
doing this like for you, but in a direct reflection to us.
Yeah.
Because now these parts become available to us, whether it's through him or somebody that even copies him, right? He knows it.
Right.
But mad props to Charles. It was cool to get him on here and just kind of, chat and just hear about what he's up to. I was hoping we could get him to list out all of his cars, but, I get it.
We'd probably still be there.
Yeah, I get it. I get it, dude. I get it. But yeah, all right, guys, we definitely appreciate you listening. Hopefully you enjoyed Charles' interview. Please sub to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram at RHDGUIS. Look in the show notes for the Facebook group. But for episode 158, I'm Bobby. This is Aaron.
See ya.
Peace.